Peace, family. This is Lions Den with another news and commentary. This article is coming from the Washington Post. Check out WashingtonPost.com to look up in this article. Former police officer goes on trial for killing unarmed 15-year-old. In Dallas, Texas, a former Texas police officer who last year killed an unarmed black teenager, a passenger in a car leaving a house party, goes on trial Thursday morning for murder. The fatal shooting of 15-year-old Jordan Edwards by Roy Oliver, who is white, quickly became yet another flashpoint in the national debate over law enforcement and the use of force. The high school freshman was one of the youngest people killed by police in 2017. Despite defense attorneys' last-minute attempt to halt the trial, a jury is set to hear opening arguments in the Dallas County courtroom. The 38-year-old Oliver, a former patrol officer in the suburb of Balch Springs, claims he fired to protect his partner. Police initially said the car in which the teen, his stepbrother, and the three friends were riding reversed aggressively towards the officers, but later acknowledged that body camera video showed the opposite. Oliver was fired 3 days after Edwards' death, with officials saying the 6-year veteran had violated several department policies. While it is highly unusual of law enforcement officers to be indicted in shootings of civilians, much less to be convicted in such cases, Oliver is one of 4 former police officers indicted in Dallas County last year and the second to stand trial. In January, former Farmers Branch officer Ken Johnson was found guilty of murder and aggravated assault and sentenced to 10 years in prison for shooting 2 16-year-olds. One who was killed. Johnson was off duty and in regular clothes when he caught the teens breaking into his personal vehicle in 2016. The pair drove away with him in pursuit. After a short chase, Johnson rammed the other vehicle, got out of his SUV, and fired 16 times. In September, former Mesquite police officer Derek Wiley is scheduled to go on trial in connection with the shooting last fall that injured a man trying to unlock his own truck. Wiley had been responding to a report of a possible car burglary. Oliver's trial is expected to last at least a week. He faces 1 charge of murder and 3 counts of aggravating assault with a deadly weapon. Edwards had been at a party the night of the shooting, but left as police arrived in response to a 911 call about intoxicated teens. According to civil litigation filed by his family, his stepbrother was trying to drive away when someone shouted to stop the car. Before he could respond or react, the lawsuit states Oliver began shooting into the vehicle with a rifle. The bullet shattered the window of the front passenger side, where Edwards was sitting, and the bullet struck him in the head with such force that the teen was thrown onto his stepbrother's shoulder. The shooting sparked outrage in North Texas and attracted national attention. In June, the defense team unsuccessfully sought to change the venue, contending that media coverage of the case has been pervasive, presidential, and inflammatory. A photo of Oliver in jail uniform has often accompanied stories, a point of concern he wrote in an affidavit. Daryl Washington, an attorney for the Edwards family, said Tuesday that they are ready to get things going and ready to get the pursuit of justice started. It's extremely tough, but because there are wounds that are being reopened, the family has to relive this nightmare all over again. The federal lawsuit the family filed against Oliver and the city of Balch Springs is on hold while the criminal case proceeds. The killing of a juvenile by law enforcement remain rare, according to national and statewide data. Based on reports filed with the Texas Attorney General Office, there has been 30 people under the age of 18 fatally shot by law enforcement since 2005. Edward is among the youngest killed, although a 6-year-old and a 3 infant are part of that count. Nationally, law enforcement officers have killed nearly a dozen 15-year-olds since 2015, based on data compiled by the Washington Post. During the same period, police also fatally shot 2 6-year-olds, a 12-year-old, a 13-year-old, and 2 14-year-olds. It's a pretty significant event when a juvenile is shot by police, said Mike A. Mills, a senior researcher at the Center of Juvenile Criminal Justice. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The trial with this police officer Oliver, it starts today of the murder of the murder of 15-year-old Jordan Edwards. Now, we know this situation before. You know, even though police officers can be indicted or to go to trial, that doesn't necessarily mean that they were found guilty. There's been multiple stories out there before, and you know, officers who basically, and I'm surprised that this police officer right there, you know, didn't get indicted. I'm surprised. Normally police don't get indicted on things like this, but this one does. So the good news is that so far it's a start. But again, even though the trial starts today, we're probably gonna hear both facts in this case, both the plaintiff, or the prosecutor, and the officer's defense of what happens. So we need to, again, we just basically hope that the Edwards family will seek justice, you know, in this case against the police officer. But like I said, we cannot celebrate as of yet. Even though he is arrested, he's now being indicted. We gotta wait and see what's gonna happen next. So at the end of the day, guys, it's not over. Not by a long shot. And we will see how this trial plays out. But again, we're just going to have to hold our breath and wait and see what's going to happen in this case. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think about this article. Share this video. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribe to my reaction channel. And subscribe to my Black Junction channel for all the news and commentary. With that being said, this is Lions Den signing off. Deuces.